Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, students. I'm Nadeem from JK College. Today we are going to discuss class 10th, chapter number 12, hydrocarbons, page 91. So today we are starting the next chapter, hydrocarbons. If you open your book and come to the first page of this chapter, you will see a topic, introduction. So what are the hydrocarbons and how they affect our lives? So this has been discussed here. So let me give the introduction of this topic. As the name indicates, hydrocarbons, those compounds which contain carbon and hydrogen atoms only in their molecules are called hydrocarbons. For example, methane. Methane has formula CH4. Methane has carbon and hydrogen atoms only. So it is a hydrocarbon. Similarly, ethene, C2H4. Again, it has just carbon and hydrogen, so it is also a hydrocarbon. Benzene, C6H12. So this is C6H6, sorry. This is again a hydrocarbon because they have just hydrogen and carbon, nothing else. But if let me discuss about sugar or glucose. Glucose has formula C6H12O6. So this is not a hydrocarbon because in addition to carbon and hydrogen, it also have oxygen. So remember that if there is another atom other than carbon and hydrogen, such molecules are not hydrocarbons. So I hope the term hydrocarbon will be clear to you. So hydrocarbons in our book includes three classes of organic compounds: alkane, alkene and alkynes. So all of these three will be discussed here in this chapter. How alkane are produced, what are their properties, what are their reactions, similarly then alkenes and finally alkynes. So remember that all the hydrocarbons are mainly obtained from fossil fuels. What are the fossil fuels? Fossil fuels are actually the fuels which are formed by the death and decay of living organisms which once lived. So ancient plants and animals bodies decays to produce fossil fuels. So these are also called conventional sources of energy. About 90% of energy which comes from petrol or diesel or natural gas or CNG, whatever it is, about the 90% of energy which we consume in our ordinary life, in our daily life, comes from the combustion of fossil fuels. So what are the fossil fuels actually? Remember that coal, petroleum and natural gas. Natural gas. Coal, petroleum and natural gas, these three are collectively called what? The fossil fuels. So these are the fossil fuels. And you know, the combustion of all these three mainly produces, as they contain carbon, so carbon is oxidized during their combustion and carbon dioxide gas is produced. Similarly, hydrogen is oxidized to produce water. So all of these three have carbon and hydrogen. These are the mainly the petrol and the coal also have some other elements, but I'm not going into the detail of that. Or especially the natural gas, it contains low boiling hydrocarbons, that is the alkanes. So it purely gives us carbon dioxide and water upon combustion. So it has been estimated by the environmental chemists that carbon dioxide pollution will increase by 20% by the end of 20th century. So when this century ends, the carbon dioxide pollution will increase by 20%. And remember that this is an alarming situation. This is a highly, you can say, risky situation. They have also mentioned in your book that annual emission of carbon dioxide, that the total emission of carbon dioxide from all sources is around about 25 billion tons. So this amount of carbon dioxide is released by all man-made and natural activities. Similarly, annual emissions of CO2 by fossil fuels, out of this 22 billion tons is contributed by the combustion of fossil fuels. So the contribution of fossil fuels towards carbon dioxide emission is very great. So it's round about, it constitutes almost 80 to 85% of the total carbon dioxide. So it comes from combustion of fossil fuels. Similarly, when carbon dioxide comes into air, the plants absorb carbon dioxide. They prepare their own food material by the process of photosynthesis. So plants consume carbon dioxide. So CO2 removed or consumed by plants is 15 billion tons. And remember that the total amount of carbon dioxide is 25. So 15 billion tons of carbon dioxide is removed by plants. So how much carbon dioxide left? 10 billion tons. So it remain in our atmosphere. So each year 10 billion tons of carbon dioxide becomes surplus and gets remained in our atmosphere. And remember that the main problem associated by the carbon dioxide or associated with the emission of carbon dioxide is the global warming. You would have studied or heard about this topic, the global warming. Global warming is actually the increase in the average temperature of the earth, and it is mainly caused by CO2. So global warming it is also called greenhouse effect. Due to this, the average temperature of the earth surrounding the earth increases, which may gives rise to various climatic abnormalities like floods, more rain, drought at one place and rain at other, much more rain at other places. So ice cape and glaciers can melt. Bird migration can affect. The increase in temperature of the earth can also affect some crops. Many species of plants and animals will become extinct. They will disappear from the earth's surface. So that will be an alarming situation. Nowadays you can see that a lot of rains are there, maybe a consequence of the global warming. So this was something about something which was mentioned in your book, that carbon dioxide and other gases. So how the global warming occurs? Actually, carbon dioxide and other gases, which may be methane, water vapors, they allow sun rays to come in towards the earth's surface. Earth absorb it, and then earth re-emit these radiations back. But when earth re-emit these sun rays back, then they are of low energy. They cannot penetrate, they can't penetrate through the layers of carbon dioxide and other gases. So they remain inside our atmosphere. So for example, this is sun, and sun rays are coming towards earth. This is the earth's surface. These rays which are coming from the sun, they are of high energy. Earth absorb it, and then earth re-emit these radiations. Earth is a good absorber of energy, but it is also a good emitter of energy. So it absorb it and then re-emit it. But when Earth re-emit these sun rays, the re-emitted radiations are of low energy, low energy. And when they were coming, they were of high energy. So let's say this is a layer of carbon dioxide. So when they were coming towards the Earth's surface, they easily penetrated the layer of carbon dioxide and other gases. But when they are re-emitted by the Earth, they are of low energy, then they are unable to penetrate this layer of carbon dioxide, methane and other gases. So they remain here in this atmosphere. Carbon dioxide absorb it, other Earth air absorb it, and the overall temperature gets increased. This situation is called global warming. So this is a highly dangerous situation. Now students, if you move to the next page of your book, chapter number 12, the page second. So when you go to the page, page 92, not this is 91, but go to the next page. Over there is a topic, society, technology and science. I am coming towards that topic, but before, if someone asks what are the applications or uses of hydrocarbons. So remember that the first use of hydrocarbons may be obtained from petrol, natural gas and coal. So they are mostly used as fuels. For example, petrol, kerosene, diesel, mobile oil. They may also be used as lightning sources. Okay, they are also used for heating purposes in industries. Not only these, the hydrocarbons like alkenes and alkynes. Alkenes are the hydrocarbon with the carbon-carbon double bond, and alkynes are the hydrocarbon with carbon-carbon triple bond. They are widely used for a number of products, and this application of alkene and alkynes is discussed in a topic, Society, Technology and Science, in your book. So they have mentioned that alkenes and alkynes like ethene, ethane, butane, butene, butane, propene, propine, and all these are used for the production of for the synthesis mean preparation. So they are used for the synthesis of many products of industrial importance. For example, they are used for the preparation of polymers. Polymers are the compounds which are composed of huge molecule. For example, ethene is a molecule. When many ethene molecules combines together, it form polyethylene, which normally we call, in our ordinary language, we call polythene. Polythene is a plastic. So there are many types of plastics. All of them are obtained from alkene and alkynes. Similarly, foam. If you look around around you in a room or at your house or in your classroom, you may see a lot of, for example, our cloths, carpets, curtains, towels, sheets, floor tiles, furniture. Even if you go to your car, the dashboard of your car, seats, tires, floor mat, ceiling, all of them are made up of alkenes and alkynes. Similarly, these alkenes and alkynes are also used as a raw materials. Raw materials means the initial material, the starting material. Raw materials for the production of many things like synthetic rubber. One is the natural rubber, which is formed, which is prepared by milky syrup from rubber plant. But there is another rubber which is called synthetic rubber, artificial rubber. That rubber is produced from alkynes. So synthetic rubber, plastics, films, adhesives. Adhesive means magics. For example, glue, gum, magic. All these products are called adhesives. Similarly, drugs. Drug is a medicine which is advised by the physician for the treatment of a particular disease. The drug may also be, you can say, it can be narcotics if it is illegally used. So similarly, dyes. Dye is the color of cloth, kapde ka rang. So all these are what? These are the gifts of alkenes and alkynes. So these are very important from industrial point of view. Now we know that millions of organic compounds have been prepared or obtained from various sources. So millions of organic compounds are in practice nowadays. So there must be a sophisticated system to name these organic compounds. So the scientists developed a system what we call IUPAC. 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 So IUPAC system, IUPAC stands for International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So this is a system of naming of organic compounds. By this system, it says that the main theme of this system is that each and every organic compound must have a separate name. So two names can never be used for a single compound in IUPAC system. But in IUPAC system, there is also another system which is called common system. I'm not talking about the common system. But in IUPAC system, each and every compound will have a separate name. Okay? So this is the main theme of this system. We will discuss different compounds and then we will see that how to name those compounds. Let me proceed towards my topic, that is alkanes. If you see at the next page, a topic is given, alkanes. This is my topic now. Alkanes have this is a class of compound. Alkanes represents a class of compounds. These are the organic compounds in which there is only carbon-carbon single bond between any two carbon atom and there will be no double or triple bond. So all the carbon-carbon bond in alkanes are carbon-carbon single bond, there will be no double bond, there will be no triple bond. Okay, so these compounds, these are also called saturated hydrocarbons. These are also called saturated hydrocarbons. They are also called paraffins. Paraffins. Para is from Latin term param. Affin from affinity. Affinous. This means these alkanes have low affinity or allow to undergo chemical reactions. So they do not react easily. That's why the term paraffins is used for alkanes. They are also called saturated hydrocarbons. You know, each family or class of organic compound has its own general formula. Alkane also have, it is also a class of compound, so it also have it also has a general formula which is CnH2n plus 2. This is the general formula for alkanes, where n represents the number of carbon atoms. Suppose if we put n is equal to 1 for one carbon alkane, we know when we put 1 here, it will become C1, 2 into 1, 2 plus 2, H4. So we will get CH4. This is called methane. Similarly, when we put n is equal to 2 in the above formula, this formula, put n is equal to 2, we will get C2, also put 2 here instead of n. So C2, 2 into 2, 4 plus 2. So this gives us C2H6. This is called ethane. Similarly, when you put n is equal to 3, you will get C3H8. This is called propane. So methane, ethane, propane, butane, pentane, all these compounds we have already discussed in our previous videos of previous chapter. You must know it, but at this point I shall tell you how to draw their dot and cross structures. What? Dot and cross formulas or structures. For example, let me start with methane. You know, methane has 1 carbon and 4 hydrogens. 1 carbon and 4 hydrogen atoms. There are 4 electrons in the outermost shell of carbon. So these 4 electrons are represented by crosses. This carbon has 4 electrons in its outermost shell. So 4 electrons of carbon are shown by cross. These 4 electrons of carbon are shared with 4 electrons of hydrogen. These green colored dots represents the 4 electrons of hydrogen. So I shall write the symbol of hydrogen here, here and here and last here. So this is the dot and cross structure of methane. Formula is CH4. The cross represents the electrons of carbon and the dot represents the electron of hydrogen atom. So such a formula in which the electrons of one atom are shown by cross and electrons of the other atom which are shared are shown by the dot, such a formula is called dot and cross formulas or dot and cross structures. Similarly, this is the methane. Now if someone asks that draw the structure formula of ethane, ethane has 2 carbon atoms. Let's say this is the 1 carbon atom and this is the another carbon atom. Okay, so remember that these crosses are the electrons of carbon, so I shall also put a cross here. But now I shall never represent the electrons of this carbon with cross, because there will always be one cross but the other will always be dot. So the electrons of this carbon atom are shown by dot. Okay, but you can represent the electrons of the hydrogen atom by cross. So never put two dots or two crosses together. There must always be one cross and one dot. You can see here, everywhere there is one dot and one cross. So put hydrogen atoms here. So this is the formula of ethane. This is ethane. C2, 3 hydrogen, H6. C2, H6. This is its molecular formula. And this formula is called dot and cross formula or dot and cross structure formula. So you can also draw the dot and cross structure formula for higher members. For example, propane. Propane has 3 carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3. Now look at this carbon. How many bonds it has formed? Just one. And one bond utilizes 1 electron. But there are how many electrons are there in the outermost shell of carbon? 4. So it must form 4 bonds. For 4 bonds, what you have to do? How many bonds are here? Just one. How many bonds it can form in total? 4 bonds. So 3 bonds are left. So put 3 hydrogen atoms here. Now look at this carbon. How many bonds this carbon has formed? Just 2. How many left? In order to make total 4 bonds. 2 are left. So put 2 hydrogens here. Similarly, again look at here, it is formed just a single bond, 1 bond. So put 3 bonds here and 3 hydrogens over there. So this becomes what? Look at this now. 1, 2, 3, C3, and count the hydrogen atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, H8. This is the structure formula of propane. So similarly, you can also draw butane. What will you have to do for butane? Put another CH2 here, for example. Now this is butane. If someone asks that draw the structure of pentane, put another CH2 here. Okay, so pentane, hexane, you can draw the structure of any alkane here. So this was something about the alkanes, what are alkanes, how to draw their structures. And remember that, for example, if I write ethane, this prefix, this eth represents the number of carbon atom and ane represents alkane. For methane, methane. A and E represents alkane, meth for 1 carbon, eth for 2, propane, prop represents 3 carbon, but, and butane represents 4 carbon, pent and pentane represent 5 carbon, hexane, Higgs represents the 6 carbon. So the prefix represents the number of carbon atom and ane suffix represents the family or class of compounds. So this was something how to name, how to draw their structures. And next time inshallah we will take the general method of preparation of alkanes. So wish you best of luck, and if you have any problem just tell me.